Hello, my name is Dr. Shizkisi. I was born in Springfield, Massachusetts. I was born on March 2nd, 1904. I am famous for being an author of children's books. My first book was published to Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street. My most famous book was Cat in the Hat. I sold over 600 million of copies of children's books. I want to talk about some interesting facts. I published books with different pen names. I added doctor to my pen name because my father always wanted me to practice medicine. My books were translated in 20 languages. I never had children of my own. If I was alive, I would have been 112 years old. And thanks for coming.
Hello, my name is Rachel Carson. I was born in Springfield, Pennsylvania on May 27, 1907. I'm famous for trying to make the world a better place for humans and animals. I'm a marine biologist. Some other interesting facts about me are when I was a kid, I'd rather be with animals than humans. I finished college. I did not get married or have any children of my own, but when my sister died, I adopted her children. And when my niece died at a young age of 30, I adopted her son. I wrote 4 books: Silent Spring, The Sea Around Us, Under the Sea, and The Edge of the Sea Wind. I had breast cancer the 4 years I wrote Silent Spring. If I were alive right now, I'd be 107 years old. I died of a heart attack on April 14th, 1964 at the age of 56.
In a poll taken by ABC Sports, I was voted greatest athlete of the 20th century, beating out Muhammad Ali, Wayne Gretzky, Babe Ruth, and Michael Jordan. Hi, my name is Jim Thorpe. On May 22nd, 1887, I wasn't born with a ball in my hands, but it wasn't long. I was the first Native American to be a professional athlete. I played both baseball and football professionally. I also won 2 gold medals for track and field in the 1912 Olympics in Stockholm, Sweden. The King of Sweden once said I was the greatest athlete in the world. Once I was playing pro football for the Canton Bulldogs. We became one of the original teams of the NFL, and I was its first president. I love to compete and once said, they keep on coming, but that's what keeps me going. I retired from football at age 41. I had 8 kids. One of them died at age 3. I was also married 3 times. On March 28, 1953, I died from a heart attack. I may not be living now, but my legacy lives on.
Hello, my name is Ludwig van Beethoven. I was born in Bonn, Germany on December 1770. I am famous for my symphonies and my temper. I am the most famous classical composer of the Western world. I remembered for my powerful and stormy compositions and for continuing to compose and conduct, even after I began to go deaf at the age of 28. Some other interesting facts about me are I often dip my head in cold water before composing. I wrote another of my sonatas that night and called it the Moonlight Sonata. My deafness was the result of lead poisoning, and lead poisoning was the cause of my death. My height was 5'3". I had usually bad skin. When my brother died, I bribed officials to obtain custody of my brother's son, thus taking my nephew away from my brother's wife. If I were alive, I would be 246 years old, but that is not true. I died from lead poisoning on March 26, Vienna, Austria, at the age of 56. More interesting facts is right in here. Hello, my name is Laura Engels Wilder. I was born on February 7th, 1867. I have 3 siblings, Mary, Grace, and Carrie. My mom and pa's names are Caroline and Charles. I became a teacher December 10th, 1882. I started dating Amalva Wilder. Then on August 25th, 1885, I got married. Then I had a baby girl. Her name was Rose Wilder. Later on, I had a baby boy, but he died before he was named. Laura started writing a book about her life. It was called The Big Woods. I am famous for my books. There are lots of museums named after me. Soon I became ill. After a week in the hospital, I came home that night and died in my sleep. The date is February 10th, 1957. Even though she is dead, she will always be with us in her stories.
Hello, my name is Betsy Ross. I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on January 1st, 1752. I am famous for making the first American flag. In the spring of 1776, George Ross, Robert Morris, and George Washington came to me with a sketch of a flag they wanted made. Their sketch was good, but I showed them ways to make it even better. They liked my idea, so they gave me money to buy fabric for the flag. Some interesting facts about me are, I gave up my family and my religion to live with John Ross. 50 years after I died, my beloved grandson shared my flag in public. Today, there is a bridge in Delaware named after me. One of my famous quotes is, "Today, the American knight holds the commercial supremacy of the world." If I were still alive, I would be 264 years old. I died from a heart problem on January 30th, 1836 at the age of 84. That is my story.
Hello, my name is Wilma Golden-Rudolph. I was born in Bentwood, Tennessee, June 23rd, 1940. I am famous for becoming a teacher and track coach. I was the first American woman to win 3 gold medals at 16. I had polio and had to wear a leg brace at the age of 9. My doctor told me I would never walk again. My mother told me I would. I believed my mother. Some other interesting facts about me are, in Rome, Italy, the 1960 Olympic Games, I say world record of 11.3 seconds in the 100-meter dash. In the final round, with a time, I won the 100 in the final round with a time of 11.0. At 16, I made the U.S. Olympics. I won a bronze medal in the sprint relay event. If I were alive, I would be 75 years old. I died from a brain tumor from cancer on November 12, 1994. I died at the age of 54. Hope you like my story. Don't forget to check out my display board for more interesting facts about me.
Hi, my name is Christopher Columbus. I was born in Granona, Italy, 1451. I am famous for traveling the Atlantic Ocean. I am also famous for discovering new islands. Here are some interesting facts about me. There are a ton of things named after me. My dad died 1492. Nina and Pinta weren't actually 2 names of the 3 ships that I rode. If I were still alive, I'd be 503 years old. I died from heart failure in Spain, 1509, at the age of 58.
Mastermind. Oh, hi there. I'm Leonardo da Vinci. I was born April 15th, 1452. I am most famous for painting the Mona Lisa painting. Some other interesting facts about me are, I was left-handed, I had lots of siblings, and I like to make sketches in my notebooks. If I were alive today, I'd be 551 years old. People still remember me today from my famous paintings like The Last Supper.
Do you know who invented E equals MC squared? It was me, Albert Einstein. I was born in Ulm, Germany on March 14th in 1874. I'm famous for being a great scientist. I invented a formula E equals mc squared. It explains the relationship between mass and energy. I also won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1921 when I was 40 years old. When I was born, my head wasn't a normal size. When I was born, I was a really fat baby. I couldn't talk until I was 4 years old. I like to sail my boat, but I never learned to swim. If I were alive today, I would be 136 years old. I died from heart failure on April 1955 at the age of 81.
Hello, my name is Abraham Lincoln. I was born in Hodgenville, Kentucky, in a log cabin on February 12, 1809. I am famous because I issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which led to abolishing slavery in the United States of America. It allowed black soldiers to fight for the Union against the Confederates. I wrote the Emancipation and changed almost every man's opinion of the war. I hated being called Abe. I preferred being called by my last name, Lincoln. I always appeared very serious, but I was a jokester. I was a big animal lover, but I would not hunt or fish. My shoe size was between 12 and 14. I often stored things like letters and documents in my tall stove-piped hat. If I were alive, I would be 207 years old. I was assassinated on April 14th, 1865, and died the next day.
Hello, my name is Elvis Presley. I was born in Tupelo, Mississippi, January 8, 1935. I am famous for singing and being the king of rock and roll and making rock and roll a favorite genre. I was nominated for 14 Grammys. I sold over 600 million records in my career. Some of the most popular records are Heartbreak Hotel, Blue Suit Shoes, Don't Be Cruel, Love Me Tender, and Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear. I became popular really fast because I was on the Ed Sullivan Show. I had a very long and successful life. I really enjoyed being the king of rock and roll. Some other interesting facts about me are, my favorite sandwich is peanut butter, bacon, banana, and honey. I am also related to former U.S. Presidents Abraham Lincoln and Jimmy Carter. I married Priscilla and we had one baby named Lisa Marie Presley. If I were alive, I'd be 82 years old. I died from taking pills and my heart stopped beating. I died on August 16, 1977, at the age of 42.
Hello, my name is Thomas Edison. I was born on February 11, 1847, in Milan, Ohio. I am famous for inventing a light bulb. People call me the man who changed the future. My invention changed the world. My first invention was the phonograph in 1877. Some other interesting facts about me are I often like to work in a laboratory. I proposed marriage to my second wife with Morse code. I tapped out the proposal in Minda's hand. I began to travel as a telegraph operator at the age of 15. I mainly work for the Union Company. If I were still alive, I would be 169 years old. I died at the age of 84. I died at a sickness on a sickness at the age of 84.
Hello, my name is Walter Payton. I was born in Cumming, Mississippi on July 25th, 1954. I'm famous for being one of the greatest running backs in the history of the NFL. In 1977, I set the single-game rushing record with 275 yards versus Minnesota on November 20th. I was named NFL Player of the Year and Sporting News NFC Player of the Year. I was named NFL Offensive Player of the Year. I became famous when I played on the Chicago Bears. In 1987, I shattered Jim Brown's rushing record with 16,726 yards in my career. My legacy continues with the Walter and Connie Payton Foundation. It helps promote organ donation. It also helps donate toys each year at Christmas to underprivileged children. My wife's name is Connie. My nickname is Sweetness.
I was shy and quiet. My jersey number is 34. I gave gold watches to each of my linemen. I missed only one game in 13 years. I played in the high school marching band. I played drums in the high school marching band and sang in the choir. I did not believe in post-touchdown celebrations. My kids, Jarrett and Brittany. I had an older brother named Eddie. I had a sister named Pam. My parents were Peter and Elaine Payton. If I were alive, I would be 62 years old. I died from autoimmune liver disease on November 1st, 1999 at the age of 45. Hello, my name is Julia Child. I was born in Pasadena, California on August 15th, 1912. I am famous for my cooking and TV shows called The French Chef. Starting in the early 60s, I published 2 cookbooks called Mastering the Art of French Cooking, Volumes 1 and 2. These 2 books are considered the most influential works in American cookbook history. Some other interesting facts about me are, in April 1951, my friends and I opened a cooking school. We called it Les Écoles des Trois Gourmandes and taught American women how to cook French food. I worked for many companies. My first job was working for the OSS agency. I was sent to China. That's where I met Paul Child. Me and Paul got married on September 1st, 1946 in the home of French in New Jersey. On November 3rd, 1948, I ate at a fancy restaurant called La Couronne. That meal changed my life and inspired me to cook French food. I became famous in October 1961. I died Friday, August 13, 2004 in Montecito, California, 2 days before my 92nd birthday because of my health. I died at the age of 91. I have an exhibit named after me in the Smithsonian Institution of American History. If I were still alive, I would be 104 years old.
Hello, my name is Martin Luther King Jr. I was born on January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. I am famous for leading the fight for racial equality. After Rosa Parks was arrested in 1955, I organized and led the Montgomery bus boycott. In 1957, I co-founded the Southern Christian Leadership. In 1963, I led the march in Birmingham, Alabama. I was arrested for this. Later in August, I led the march on Washington, D.C., where I gave I Have a Dream speech. On March 25, 1965, I led the Selma to Montgomery March. On April 3, 1968, I gave my famous mountaintop speech in Memphis, Tennessee. Here are some interesting facts about me. I was the youngest person to win the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. I am often referred to only by my initials, MLK. I have a national memorial in Washington, D.C. I have a street named after me in over 700 cities. In 1958, I almost died after being stabbed at a book signing. If I were alive today, I would be 87 years old. On April 4, 1968, I was shot and killed in Memphis, Tennessee. I was 39 years old.